Hey guys, what's going on? Dorincourt here, coming to you with a tutorial on how to create big and beautiful soundscapes using only audio samples. This tutorial is also part of the BIAB Remix Composition Competition Volume 5, in which we will be remixing You and What Armies into Your Eyes. The soundscape we'll create sounds a bit like this. Now there are several parts in this soundscape. There's a piano and the rain, and also a cymbal swell, which I've already copied over here, just so we have a blank space to work with. And then what we're gonna focus on today is this voice. And also this flute sample down here. Alright, let's get started. So over here I have a new empty audio track, it's called New Vox, and into that I will import the new sample. Now we know that the original is at 165, so I will just switch my tempo to 165 BPMs and open the file browser, import the sample, and then switch that back to my original tempo, which was 105 BPMs. Let's adjust the start position here by moving that back one bar and listen.
It's why I'm wrong, lost myself today.
Now of course this is not in key, but this doesn't matter right now, because all we want is the today, and then we'll do some pitch adjustment later. So first of all, I'm gonna deactivate this piano and the rain and the cymbal so we can focus on the actual audio editing.
Lost myself today.
Actually, if I activate the click, that might be helpful.
Lost myself today. Lost myself today.
Okay, so it seems to be perfectly in time. I will cut the sample here and here, because that's all we really need. And then turn the snap back on, move that back to the beginning of the bar, because I want the today to hit on the 1. Okay. Let me just adjust the end point here, the start point, I'm sorry.
Today.
And actually we don't need this breath, so I'm just gonna cut that off.
Today.
Okay, maybe add a tiny fade out. And here's our sample. Now, in this audio track device, I will create a Neptune pitch adjuster and deactivate all the keys but A. Now why do I do this? My song is in A minor, that's just a scale I like, and if you take a look at this piano down here, you can see it's A and E that's being played in the upper register, and then the chords down here are fit with A as well. If I activate this. So this is A. Very nice. Okay, in this Neptune window over here, if I go back to the new Vox, you can see that what he's playing is actually, or what he's singing rather, is actually
Today.
an F sharp. So I will turn the catch zone size all the way up and have only the A activated. Then I'll turn correction speed all the way up and preserve expression all the way down to give the really robotic sound, and also activate the formant to compensate for any formant shifting.
Today.
And that means that everything is going to be pitched to A, which makes this fit with the piano.
Today. Today.
Now we want to drag this out very, very long. So what I will do is activate snap, have that turned to bar, and on the 1 I will make a cut using the razor tool. By the way, you can select the razor tool by hitting R instead of clicking the razor tool. Okay, so I just made the cut. If I move the marker out of the way here, you can see the little line, and then I will zoom back out and hold down Alt and drag this all the way out.
Today.
And And at this point, I recommend playing around with the stretch type a little bit. There's 3 stretch types available for audio: all round, melody, and vocal. And those are just different time stretching algorithms. And if I switch to melody here, it sounds quite robotic. If I switch to vocal, it gives a lot of digital clickiness. I think I'll stick with all round. It does add some sort of low-end growl, but we will filter that out later. Okay, now let's do some processing. First thing I'll do is go to Studio Effects and create an RV7000 Advanced Reverb. Basically, when it comes to creating huge soundscapes, you want to stick to one main rule, and that is drown everything in reverb. So let's do that now. I will open up the remote programmer of the reverb, turn the size all the way up. By the way, I'm using the initialized patch, so algorithm is whole and size is 39.6 meters. And then I'll turn the decay up fairly well and the dry wet to about 22. Which leaves us with a nice reverb. Now you can do a couple of reverb tricks here. For example, you can automate the reverb. I will automate the dry wet, create a new automation lane by alt-clicking the knob you want to automate. That's much faster than right-clicking and hitting Edit Automation. And then I will draw in a group and draw some anchor points here that will make the dry wet come all the way up. And I will do the same with the decay. So I'll alt-click the decay, and then in the sequencer, I'll just copy the decay lane over. And now if I activate the solo for the automation as well, you can hear that the sound starts off relatively dry and metallic, but then becomes this huge like sea of sound almost. One thing to note though, if you have dry wet and decay all the way up, it will result in an infinite decay, basically making your sound never decay and it becoming infinite. So what you want to do towards the end is maybe turn the decay down a bit and also have the dry wet come down like this. Just drag this out and put the anchor point here. And let's give that another listen. Okay, so this sounds fairly nice by now, but we still got to do some processing. So I'm going to open up an equalizer and just cut out all the low end. Maybe create another parametric band to aid the low shelf EQ. And that's just going to take out all the boominess that can result from using a lot of reverb. Okay, so now that we have the processing done, let's create a harmony to go on top of that. I will go to my audio track and hit Duplicate Devices and Tracks, which will result in a copy both in the sequencer as well as in the rack. We now have 2 audio tracks that lie on top of each other. Now I'll open up that audio track and select the Neptune that's in there and create a track for the Neptune. Now the Neptune is a pitch adjuster with MIDI input functions, so you can give it MIDI notes and it will then adjust the audio to those MIDI notes. So what I can do is just create a group and draw in some MIDI notes that will go well with the key of A that we're working with here. So I will turn my snap to bar and then go for a C, a D, an E, and maybe add a little shuffle at the end here like this. Also, that's probably a bit too long, so I'm gonna go to my sample, hold down Alt, and drag that out a bit. It doesn't really matter at this point how far you drag it out because it already sounds so robotic. So that's fine with what we're working with. So there you have it, that's the harmony. Okay, so the only thing missing from the soundscape now is the flute sample. So I'll hit Command Alt and I to import audio files. I've already gone to the factory sound bank, other samples, and then chords, phrases, pads, and stabs folder where you can find a lot of fresh samples. Now I used the inner flute, which I thought was a nice little Asian flute sample, and then I'll play that back, and you'll immediately hear that it's not in key and that it sounds horrible. So, what can we do now? Well, I will show you another method of getting stuff to sound in key without using Neptune. Well, partially without using Neptune. First, we'll use Neptune to determine what key the sample is in or what note the sample is playing. So I'll go to Studio Effects, create a Neptune pitch adjuster, and just play that back now. So you can see that it's playing a D sharp. Now, what notes are there that are close to the scale of A minor that would make it fit? E is a good one. So I will delete this Neptune because it's given us all the information we need. We know that it's D sharp and we want it to be E. So I will just select the sample and transpose that by 1 semitone using this transpose box right here. And as you can hear now, sounds fairly nice. Let's do some processing though. I'll solo the sample again. And it's got this slight upwards rising portamento thing at the beginning, which I don't like. So I will zoom in a bit, turn my snap off and move that back. And then maybe add a little fade in. And then at the end, it goes down to this other note, which I don't like either. So I'll just move back here and add a fade out, which leaves us with this. Now I'm just gonna hold down Alt and drag that out, because with huge soundscapes like this, the general rule is time stretch everything to death. Okay, that's the inner flute, the audio part done. Now I'll go and create another RV7000, which can be found in the Studio Effects. And once again, I'll do the same thing. Turn the size all the way up, decay fairly up as well, and the dry wet to about 30. And I'll do some automation as well, because I liked it so much in the last thing that we did down there. Okay, and just do the same with the decay. Maybe draw a bit of a different group here. Maybe like that. And let's hear how all these things sound together. If I do some arrangement, actually let me position my camera correctly and move that back here. And let's take a listen. And there you have it. That's my soundscape. And if you keep working on that, maybe your results will be kind of similar to mine. What I've done here is I've created an epic orchestral remix of You and What Armies Into Your Eyes. So, if you enjoyed this tutorial and you could pick up some tips, as always I'd appreciate it if you could thumbs this video up and maybe give me a favorite. Also, subscribe for more tutorials, vlogs and other creative stuff. And also, if you want, you can follow me on Twitter. It's at Dorincourt Music. I will put an annotation right down here. And yeah, other than that, it's been nice making this tutorial for you guys. And yeah, I hope you could pick some information up. Thanks for watching. Dorincourt out.